Hey gang, on Friday of this week, March the 6th at noon, we're going to be doing the month's insider training, and we're going to be calling this From Content to Conquest. And I've got several things here that I want to share with you today that we're going to be talking about. I'd like for you to attend if this problem of how do I take the content that I have either in my brain or in my heart or on my computer and get it out to the world so that the phone rings. If you're in sales, CEO, VP of sales, you're into the game of client acquisition, then you need to figure out how to use content. And it's been wonderful for us and a lot of our clients. We're going to share with you maybe some of the kind of open secrets of it. So I'm going to go through a handful of things today in this video that we're going to be expanding upon. But I know whenever I'm tempted to attend a training session, especially if there's a fee to it, and there is, our insider program, the tuition is $97 a month, and for that you get a training program every month on a counterintuitive strategy. I want to know, what are you going to talk about? So here's some things here that we're going to talk about today that we're going to go into a lot more detail on Friday. So the first thing is I want you to meet the prospect where they are. Now, if you've never done any work on this can seem like an easy thing, and yet when you get into it, it's a little bit more difficult. But once you get clear on what is your potential customer struggling with, what are they thinking about, what is their attention on, not this whole what keeps them up at night, that's a bunch of crap. I mean, people don't get kept up at night for things unless it's totally serious thing. What I want to know is, what's their mind on? What is their, if they were to describe their business life to you, what are some dilemmas that they're facing? Some of these things might have something to do with you. Some of them will not. I don't care. My belief is that I want to know, like if it's a CEO struggling with profitability and how in the heck he's going to make the numbers work next month, I want to talk to him about that. The fact that I may not be able to have a straight line solution to that is irrelevant. I want to know what's on the mind of the prospect. So that's number one. Number two, I think you have to declare your position around that. Meaning, let's say I'm talking to a VP of sales, or you're a VP of sales, and you're like, we're pretty good at what we do. We have a good team, but we're still operating at about 50% capacity. We lose so many deals we really shouldn't lose. And because of that, I worry that either A, I'm not going to be able to keep my job, or B, I'm going to have to cut 50% of my sales team, the 50% that's not working, and bring in new people. And that comes with a lot of headaches and burden and overwhelm. And I got new people, and I know that only 50% of them are going to make it. So there's all these dilemmas and heartaches and heaviness around it. I've got to speak to that. And I've got to speak to it and declare my position around it. These are the kinds of things we help people with. These are the kinds of things we help VPs of sales with. And then maybe a little bit of how you do it. But you got to declare your position around it. You can't just leave them in pain and say, okay, I've got a solution. No, you have to say, here's the kind of problem we fix. Here's why we believe this is a problem worth fixing, and here's how we fix it. Here are the process, the procedures, the cadence of all that. You have to position yourself around the pain. Number three, you have to choose a platform. If you're going to create content for your potential customers, you have to find a platform. I like LinkedIn and YouTube. Doesn't have to be that. We use Facebook a little bit for ads, not much. I'm not a TikToker or X. I do that personally, but it's LinkedIn and YouTube. LinkedIn because it's the business community. YouTube because those videos last forever. We're going to put this video on YouTube presumably, and it'll last forever. And so somebody 5 years from now may say, you know what, I like what Bill's talking about. I'm going to call him and do business with him. So those are the two that we use, but you got to choose your platform or platforms. Don't try to do them all. I know people will say, oh, you got to be on all of them. At some point, maybe, but when you're just starting out, just pick a couple. Create content that actually opens a wound and begins to solve it. And what that means is, when we talked earlier about what's the problem that your customer's having that has their attention, and I want you to start to solve it. I want you to give them a step or two. So in this video here, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm promoting the Insider program, which I think you're going to like. It's, again, tuition is $97 a month, meets once a month, usually on the first Friday. And this month we're going to be talking about this topic. And I'm giving you some things here that we're going to talk about. You can probably take some of these things and not even have to attend. You don't have to join. I'm giving you value so that you can take, I'm giving you 5 or 6 here. You can take 1 or 2 of these and say, you know what, Bill's right, I'm going to put this into play. Or I'm going to think about my world in a slightly different way. So don't be afraid of solving part of the problem. Don't solve the whole problem because it's probably too complicated anyway or too complex to solve. But give people a little sense of, here's the path I'm going to take you down. Here are the first few steps along that path, which I'm giving you today. And then they can see whether they want to go down the whole path with you. The next one is some type of a warm invitation. A warm invitation is not, I think we have this naivete, this naive belief that if we just give you good content, like we're going to take you from this to booking a call and having you spend X amount of dollars with me. I just don't think that's how it works. I think if you're in a complex sale or a high ticket sale where you're selling a $10,000 to $10 million solution, this requires a little bit more than just one 5-minute video. So I like the idea of a warm invitation to something that's a little bit more personal, that's not a booked call, that's not a sales call. Because we all know what sales calls are. I mean, by the time somebody gets to a booked call with me, they kind of know what I'm about. I know what they're trying to accomplish. We have a little survey we send before a call. So we're pretty clear. But for some of you, you may not have that system set up yet. But at the very least, you need some kind of a warm invitation. This could be a panel discussion. It could be a webinar. It could be even a 1-hour webinar that you might have recorded 6 months ago that you now have on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever platform you have, and you send them to that. And so if you liked this 10-minute thing, you're going to really like this 1-hour thing. So now they're starting to consume a little bit more of your content. But to try to get somebody to go from a 5-minute video to booking a call, can it happen? Of course. But I would have some steps in between there. And if you can remember those 4 or 5 things as you start to continue to create content, get reignited about content. I think if you follow this line of thinking here, that the content will actually make a difference. The phone will ring. You'll get responses. And I can attest that sometimes you think you know what the right content is, and sometimes you don't. And you think this post here is really going to take off, and it doesn't. And this one here was a throwaway, and it has 50,000 views. And people connect with you. So from Content to Conquest, I'd love for you to attend on Friday. It's this Friday, March the 6th, from noon to 1:15. You'll get a handout. You'll get a replay. You'll get transcript. You'll get notes. And then we'll do a couple of audio follow-ups in the subsequent weeks in March that helps you just remind you of what you need to do. So I'm aiming this insider program for sales professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, anybody who wants to create some kind of a growth effort and a plan without breaking the bank. All right, I'll see you on Friday. Bye.